And welcome back, everyone. Didn't really want to see this, but I was asked. Bob's Burgers, the movie. I will say right up front, as someone who is not a fan of this television series, this film is a resounding, overwhelming meh. It's a meh. Not great, not terrible, just a meh. And that's freaking high praise from someone like me who does not like the series. I went with my friend. She joined me. She is a fan of the series. She said, even as a fan of the series, she gives it like a 6.8 out of 10. Like, definitely above just the average marker. Enjoyable. But me and her both agreed right out the gate. This should not have been a movie. This would have worked just as fine as maybe like a 3-part special. Kind of like Blue Harvest. How each episode was an hour long, roughly speaking. Yeah, I mean, well, Blue Harvest, it's a trap. The Star Wars episodes. But yeah, it's not like it's god awful or anything. No, it's fine. It's fine. I was a lot more tolerant of the characters that I'm not a big fan of from the series. Louise was not nowhere near as irritating. In fact, they did a lot to make Louise a lot more likable for me here. Louise is one of my biggest. I wouldn't say Louise and Tina, although none of the kids I'm hugely fond of. But the thing is, Tina is just like weirdly awkward for awkward. Was it Gene? Gene is not bright. I think I stated in one of my box office reports, but seeing as we're talking about the review, my issue with Bob's Burgers as a series, and why something like Family Guy or even American Dad works for me, whereas Bob's Burgers really doesn't, is that most, if not all, the main cast does not really, mentally, they don't exist in the same world as the show they're in. In Family Guy, the whole show is in a world of satire and parody. Like, the wacky shenanigans happen every single episode. And the characters are kind of a reflection of it. It's Chris being that dumb for gags, that's the point. Stewie being, effeminate, weird, and all that, that's fine. Meg being the butt of jokes and just also being very weird and alright, butt of jokes. Lois being a bad mom, having her own issues. Everyone is a butt of a joke and plays to the parody of the show, the world they live in. Bob's Burgers isn't like that. Bob's Burgers, for the most part, if not all, the entirety, still works in a world of reality. Like, the world is still grounded in reality, whereas freaking Family Guy has, like, Brian, who's a talking dog, bangs lots of women, actual human women. There's a talking giant chicken, for God's sake. Among other things, talking babies, all the tech there, whereas, yeah, you don't get that in Bob's Burgers. And yet you have characters who are so drastically parodied, parodied, let's say parodied, there we go, parodied up. Louise generally is very out of control and just doing wacky stuff. Again, this is from the few episodes I have actually seen. Jean is not very bright. Tina's just very awkward. That's her shtick. Bob's really only, is the straight, narrow, mature one. And even Linda is a little head in the clouds a lot of the time. But all that seems to be dumbed down to a certain degree. Like, even when they are playing up those aspects of their characters in this movie, it does seem that because there is an issue in the movie, what an issue is, I won't tell you. It's not that big of an issue, but in the context of their show and their world, it's a big issue. But it is actually it's an issue where they are presented as they are in the show, but it's done in a more, not cinematic, but it's done in a more controlled way. Like, their quirky natures, the natures of their quirks are definitely played off more for the sake of the story, not for the sake of sake. Whereas in in the show, for the episodes I have watched, it does seem to be more just for the sake of sake, that this is what they do, this is how their character acts. So there's two main plot lines, and everyone's got their own subplot. I mean, there's a main plot of what's going on with Bob and Linda. There's the plot going on with the landlord, the owner of the pier, who's voiced by Kevin Kline. He's like the only character I actually remember liking on the show, and him and his brother are still very much entertaining in this. And then there you got the subplots dealing with Gene, you get with Louise, and you get with Tina. All their subplots now, those play through, and everything's passable. There are a couple moments that I did legitimately laugh at. I won't lie and say I like, oh no, I'm just sticking. I hate this and this. No, if I liked something out of a movie, I liked something. There's some moments I like, definitely. There's just a lot of, and there's even a moment where me and my friend just went, oh god, oh fuck, oh, like that. But for the handful of moments I actually got a laugh, and it was more than like just one joke. There was a couple jokes, sure. I legitimately got a laugh at them. But for all of what was going on that entertained me, there's a lot of just sitting there going, yep. Nothing bad, but I'm just like, that was funny. That was cute. Yep. It's just kind of like, it's really the reason that that I don't watch a show is that I just don't find it that funny. And I didn't find a lot of what was going on here funny. I usually sympathize a lot for Bob, frankly, as a character. And apparently, according to her, there is like a musical-esque number like every show. I was unaware of that because when the song started, I'm like, oh, this is a musical. I'm going to assume it's always like a musical, whatever. And the songs, the few we have, because we had like 4 songs, I think. 4 or 5, anyway. The songs range from passable to, I think it was the last one we had, where I literally had to go, oh god, and I just leaned over to her and I went, this is an assault on my senses right now. Oh dear god, make it stop. Oh dear lord. The song that someone sings near the end, oh dear god almighty, I'm like, what the, I get it, that's the joke, but oh, the joke is hurting me. Literally, it was hurting my ears. I'll say this too. It looks like, you can tell it's a higher budget, that they have at least a low-level movie budget to this film. Due to the fact that you can tell there's a lot more CGI involved. I mean, it still looks hand-drawn, but it still looks nice. All things here, like I never crapped on like the animation of Bob's Burgers. I'll say that right up front. Unfortunately, I cannot find a budget for this film. Normally, you can go to like Wikipedia, go to the movie's page, and there is a budget. But yeah, that's not the case here. And whatever. My guess is it's like most animated films like this. It's not made on a big budget. You're probably looking at 10 to 15 million, give or take. Actually, a good example of this would be, what was the Simpsons movie on? Because this one, it's almost certainly less than the Simpsons movie. Times have changed. You can make movies of similar quality from back then for less. God, Simpsons movie, it was 2007. Holy crap. Budget. Come on, where's the budget? Okay, budget was $75 million. F what I just said. I mean, I guess 75 million. Yeah, I mean, it was The Simpsons, and then again, you got to factor in actors' paychecks. Granted, I don't know if the actors are bringing in that big of a paycheck, but okay, let me revise what I was saying. Maybe more somewhere in the neighborhood of 30, because I doubt it's the same amount as The Simpsons movie. Maybe around the same level as around 30 million, give or take. That's my best guess. I can't make any guarantees on that for obvious reasons. There's not much else to really talk about unless I were to go into spoilers, and I just don't care enough about the movie to do that. I'm obviously not a big fan of the series. But let me tell you, for me to say this movie was a meh, meaning like it was fine. It's not amazing. I probably will never see it again, but I don't really hate the fact I saw it. For me to say that about a show I don't like, that's full praise right there. I mean, if I ended up loving this movie, you might as well just be saying Jesus is about to come down and just it's the second coming already. It's like, holy crap. But no, it's, look, if you are a fan of this series, and my friend was, you will probably like this fine. She's a fan of the series, and even she admits, like, it probably would have been better as like a TV special or something like that. Maybe condensed down or done over like 3 episodes or something like that. But either way, look, it's not the worst thing in the world. Maybe if you are a fan of it, you'll get a lot more enjoyment than either of us did. But until then, that's my thoughts. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I got my Who Would Win, and I got pre-record What If for tomorrow. So thanks for watching. I'll see you later.